Bert just got a check from All Things Comedy.
This is the first check they've said they've given me checks in the past that goes to my business manager, but they gave me this one and I've never looked at a check I've gotten from them.
Yeah. Now you share an advertising revenue. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
It's like a pool. You guys are communists?
I'm not really certain our business model, to be dead honest with you. Yeah. And I do have Something's Burning and my podcast with Bill Burr.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd let you look at the check first.
All right. This is good.
And I was going to try to guess how much it is based on...
Because I look at a check and I always go, well, that's half of it. I'll see half that money, right?
Because it goes to managers and agents.
Everything.
Yeah.
And
No.
and
This goes straight to Bert.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. It's a respectable amount.
For real?
It's not a bad amount. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's funny how when you get to be our age, it's like,
that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it in.
Yeah.
If it was really low, I was gonna be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, I get residual checks for Mad TV.
Yeah.
27 years later, for 2 cents.
For real?
Yeah, 5 cents.
Dude, I've heard Mad TV come up so much lately.
Yeah.
Someone was talking about it on a podcast the other day. They were like, oh yeah, did you know Adam Ray was on Mad TV?
He was not. He was on the Revival. Let's calm down.
That's it.
It lasted about 15 minutes.
That's it.
I love Adam Ray.
Yeah.
And talented guy, but look at me. Don't ever say that again. Now, I got because of the Goldbergs, I would always show up, and I've been doing it for 6 years, and I would do it, and they paid me well toward the end because they wanted me as a recurring, but I became part of the show a little bit, and so I didn't realize that I got a check, and my business manager was like, "Hey, good news," and it was a check, and I went, "Huh? What do you mean?" And well, the Goldberg plays in 32 countries all over the world, and it plays 30 times a day. This is where you start making that money.
This is
you understand
boat money.
You know what I mean?
This is
not yet, Papa. Don't I wish no, not boat, but good money. I appreciate that. Maybe, but it's
I couldn't buy a boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the one anyone's going to ride in. But
I did a campaign for a thing, and it's for gambling, a little bit. And I felt a little bit like I called my father, and I might have sold my soul. I don't know how I feel about this. and he said, yeah, you're providing what the marketplace wants. Gambling on sports is legal now. And I went, I know, and I understand that. And I told him how much I made, and he goes, yeah, you'll get over it. You'll get over whatever the fuck your problem is.
My dad's mantra: eat shit and cash checks.
Yeah, shut up.
Eat shit, dude.
It's actually a classy company. It's actually a really classy. It's a classy company.
I got approached by one of the people who sells a vape pen for nicotine, and they're like, would you be interested in that? And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind start smoking. What the fuck?
Yeah. How many kids died? What? What do you mean coated their lungs? Ah, shit. That's the stuff I get scared of.
Oh, dude, I remember on it to be the first company that was like, we'll send you product, check it out, tell us what you think, right? Yeah. This is like right when we all got podcasts. And I remember taking fucking Alpha Brain and my wife throwing it away because I was so fucking amped up. And I was like, I remember going on Rogan, he's like, did you take it? And I go, I fucking love it. My wife took it away from me. And I had the craziest fucking dreams that night.
Wow.
And I, to this day, like Alpha Brain is something that my wife, that 5-HTP works legit. But for every one of those, you get some fucking thing where you're like, some sponsor where you're like, oh.
Honestly, the only supplement company I'll go with because
their MCT oil is great.
Well, but just because I know Rogan takes it, and I know Rogan's an owner,
and you cannot listen to Joe about how much to take.
No.
We did this fucking...
The extremist, the cyborg. If you take his face off, there's just propellers and wire.
We did that.
The most intense human being on all. He smoked weed and got more successful.
Yeah. We did the podcast where they talked about Ari dosing me, and I was still having problems with my serotonin levels. It was fucked up for a while, but it was like 3 days after it happened, and I still was having hardcore panic attacks, and I wasn't right yet. And Joe's like, just take a little New Mood, and I was like, and I know that stuff works, and I was like, you have some? He's like, yeah, right here. And he opened it up. I go, how many? He's like, take 4, maybe 6, 4, 6. Here, take it. So I take 4, and then Ari goes, I might take some, and he gives it to Ari, and Ari's like, it says take 2 with a meal. And Joe's like, yeah, you don't need that. Ari had dosed me and put his back in the case and goes, I'm going to hold off. That night, I'm sitting at home going, I'm feeling a little fucking aggressive. I feel like there's too much serotonin going on. I can't stop petting my cat. But yeah, I've...
over petting your cat.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm always afraid of everything. I took one hit, whatever weed he smokes. I took one hit, dude. I had to have Shab come and pick me up at the studio and take me to his house. I ate a steak. I was still high. It took me 6 hours to be able to get in my car.
By
the way, we have Coyote Peterson coming in.
I'm so excited. I got stung by a bee the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You know Coyote.
I've been a fan of his. He was like the first guy where I was like, you know when you see like Hot Ones, you saw Hot Ones and you were like, that, of course that's going to be great.
Yeah.
Right? I'll try to think like Man vs. Food. I saw Man vs. Food and I was like, of course that's going to be great.
Yeah.
A guy's got to eat a whole steak. That's John Candy and great out. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Coyote Peterson. I think my kids showed it to me.
Oh, here it is.
Hey, how you doing?
Coyote Peterson. We're talking about you right now.
We're talking about you as we speak. Come on in.
Come on in, bro. Dude, good to see you. It's good to see you.
Hey man, I'm Bert. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I was talking about how I discovered you.
Let's get into some ads, huh, guys? One thing I enjoy doing is wearing ads. Now, reading ads. Now, here's the thing. My favorite underwear in the world, and I bet you this one time I'm not wearing them. I'm wearing my Calvins. My favorite underwear in the world, I have so many, and this is no lie, are MeUndies. I swear to God, they hold. You could probably wear them. I don't know what they're made of modal or something, some kind of a natural fiber or something that's 3 times softer than cotton, whatever. I like the way they feel. They never, ever stretch out. They're perfect underwear. They're the best underwear I've ever had. And I don't think anybody disagrees. I think Rogan agrees with this. I think he threw all his other underwear out. They're the best. So MeUndies has the most adorable Valentine's Day prints. You can get lovey-dovey this year. You can get them for women and men. MeUndies. It also makes buddy bands so you can match with your pet, which is honestly more important than people. And you can match with your girl or your guy or whatever. So there you go. You've got all kinds of rhyming ones. You've got the Valentine's Day one. You've got everything. So by the way, here's another one. They have the loungewear. Rumor has it, it's loungewear you can wear out and about. So how about that? You can wear your MeUndies on the outside of your pants. They've got great offers. Here it is. You get 15% off and free shipping. And I guarantee they'll be the best underwear you've ever had. Fact. 15% off your first pair, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. MeUndies.com/fighter. MeUndies.com/fighter. Best underwear in the world. You guys wonder why my hair is so incredibly full and lush? Well, I take Hims. I take finasteride, okay? I take my hair pills from Hims. If you have erectile dysfunction, which, as you guys know, I'm a virile stud. I don't have that problem, but they've got you there too. The fact is 40% of men by age 40 struggle with not being able to get and maintain an erection. It's just the way it is. Your body starts to break down. You start to lose your hair. They got you. They got your skin needs. They got your erectile dysfunction needs. And it's all science. This is not gas station pills. When I got my hair stuff for my hair, finasteride, I took a picture of my hair in 5 minutes. I sent it to a real doctor. In 5 minutes, I had my prescription in the mail. So it's the best. And it's a lot cheaper. I used to go with, brand stuff, and it cost me hundreds of dollars a month. And Hims cost me a lot less. It's a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. So there you go. Prescription solutions backed by science. You got all kinds of treatments. You've no in-doctor visits. That's what's amazing. No painful injections. You answer like a couple questions about your medical history, chat with a doctor for confidential review, and you're off to the races. So there you go. forhims.com/fightered. forhims.com/fightered. Get your hair back. Get your peace back. Come on. Let's get to work. Prescription products are subject to doctor approval and require an online consultation with a physician who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details and safety information. This could cost hundreds if you went in person to the doctor's office or pharmacy. I promise you, I've done it. I'm a client currently right now. forhims.com/fightered. Coyote Peterson's in the house.
I was just talking about how I found you, and I'll share this with you because I think it's a testament to how great everything you've put out on all the content you've put out.
Thank you.
And I know you have a new show. I just saw it come up the other day.
Yep.
Where's it on?
Brave the Wild. It's on Animal Planet, premieres February 9th.
I worked for Animal Planet for so long.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I had like a 3 pilot deal with them.
He played Tarzan.
You know what my show was?
What?
I'm gonna find the world's best dancing dog.
That sounds like
There you go,
something
Bert.
that
I said my first night. This is a production talk. My first night, we go to have like a little production meeting with the director, the producers, the writers, everyone. And I was like, guys, and I'm like, they're like, you want a beer? And I was like, no, we got to work tomorrow. And they're like, yeah, why don't you have a beer? And I was like, well, guys, I want to be on my game. I want to make sure this gets picked up. And this one guy, I'll just call him Mike because that's his name. He goes, really? And I went, what? And he goes, do you want to spend the rest of your life looking for dancing dogs, or do you want to just maybe make an okay show, hope it doesn't get picked up and get paid? And I went, yeah, I don't want to look for dancing dogs. He's like, then have a fucking beer. And I was like, and by the way, I had the best time shooting that show ever. I would work with those guys
Dancing fucking dog?
And by the way, we met the expert with the world's best dancing dog, and it was so lackluster. We spent the whole show was about finding the best, and the expert, the best dancing dog lady, it was such a lackluster performance that the cameramen were doubled over going, this is what we've been looking for? It was so fucking bad. We watched 2 horses fuck that day, that was way more interesting than this dancing dog.
Tell me about your show.
Okay, so the new show, Brave the Wild. So if you guys are familiar with the YouTube content, right?
100 fucking %.
So
stung by a bee.
we captured a grittiness, right, with what we were doing for YouTube, fast-paced production, but it had enough television quality that people were like, what is this doing on YouTube and not on television? So we basically took the concepts that were being done with like Planet Earth, that style of cinematography, drone shots, high-quality camera footage, slow-mo type stuff, merged that together with the Brave Wilderness YouTube channel. So it's like a baby between Planet Earth and what Brave Wilderness was to create this next level of adventure series.
Right,
and I'm confident saying...
Dumb that down for me, who already loves you. Now, are you still getting stung by shit?
Not intentionally.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
There's a fair share of blood and accidents that happen. And for the first shoot of the first season, first night out on a location in Australia, I'm bit in the face by a 9-foot carpet python. Just blood.
I think I saw that. That's like
they're using a lot of that in the teasers because like you just got bit in the face by a snake. People want to see that.
And it wasn't provoked. It was legit, like him holding it and just clunk, and it is.
So you were holding a wild snake, and it was like, and usually they're not supposed to bite the branch they're on.
They're not usually supposed to bite anything that isn't messing with them. But of course, when you pick up a 9-foot python in the middle of the Australian rainforest and it's like, this is not a normal part of my day, and there's all these lights, it senses a warm heat signature in front of it. It's thinking, okay, well, you're bigger than something I'd probably eat. You must be a predator. I'm going to bite you before you bite me, and maybe you'll put me down. So that's exactly what happened. And I gave the snake exactly the respect it asked for, placed it right back in the environment. We're like, man, that was one heck of a scene.
Where did it bite you?
On my upper and lower lip. So we call it being kissed by a python. I mean, full spread of its mouth, and they have razor sharp teeth that are like backwards turned razor blades. So I'm really lucky it didn't grapple onto my lip, because getting that off would have just opened me up big time.
Oh, yeah. So it bit, let go, and you were like, whoa.
Yep. And then, my camera team is so amazing, because in most instances, people would freak out and be like, holy cow, cut the cameras. Is he okay? My camera team knows that, yes, this is the moment everybody's looking for. They keep rolling. You run with it, and you have an amazing
so I didn't
scene.
know there was a rainforest in Australia. That's how much of an idiot I am. I always thought of it
by the way, I've been to Australia
arid,
3 times, and I didn't know that either.
So there's a rainforest.
Yeah.
Okay. So now
there's sort of like temperate rainforests along like the
Blue Mountains?
the eastern coast.
Up on the top by Cairns.
So Northern Territory, New South Wales, like the whole stretch along the coastline, just a bit in from like the Sunshine Coast, is beautiful tropical forests running
and
rivers and creeks.
Look at that. Did you have to get like disinfected? What happens?
No, we just threw a little saline solution on it and kept filming. Like, we weren't looking for a carpet python. We were searching after something called a long-finned eel, which is this huge alien-looking eel creature. One of the top predators in the river ecosystems there.
It is?
And
how big is it?
They can grow up to like 10 feet in length.
What?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Hold on.
long-finned eel. They
Would
can be
would they bite a
huge.
person?
They won't. I mean, if you take them out of the water and you put your hand in your mouth, it can bite you. But they're super hard to catch, very elusive. It took me 8 hours before I was able to finally get one for the cameras.
You're in the water. Mm-hmm. Now, no Crocs.
No Crocs in.
Where
in
are
this
you? Hold on.
environment.
Where are you?
For this, we're just inside the Sunshine Coast.
Okay, so you're not up where the Crocs live.
No, the Crocs are further up in the northern territory. So 2 types of crocodiles, and we did a huge crocodile episode: freshwater crocodiles and saltwater.
I got to
crocodiles.
hear all about this.
Saltwaters are the bad ones, dude.
Saltwater's
they eat Germans like crazy.
What do you mean German?
Germans die at such a quick clip in fucking Australia. Every sign is "Do not swim," and then it says "9 swimming, don't crocodiles."
Is that right?
I swear to God, Germans die like crazy because they've never experienced anything. They live in
my
this
God.
fucking palm of a world where it's just the Black Forest, and the worst thing they had were Jews. Got rid of them, right? So then they're like, so
Wait a minute, this is crazy, Bert. I don't know if this is all
Germans
true.
die at such a quicker than any because they have no ecosystem.
They have natural
They don't have
defen- they have
tigers.
natural
They don't have.
defenses.
They have no tigers, lions, crocodiles, snakes. Nothing. They have just other Germans. By the way,
Or Tarantino films.
legit, Brian. They legit don't have Jewish people there. Legit don't have. Like there's none there. When you talk to a German, they go, "What do you say to your Jewish friend?" They go, "I've never met one." I swear to God. So when they go to Australia, they're like, "Und this must be really nice to swim in this water in the waterfall."
I want to stop you for a second. I want to stop you for a second. And I mean this. That's the best German accent I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you, Brian.
That's so good, dude.
Hey,
Are you German?
hey, Anna, we want to go swimming? And she's like, okay, what's the worst that could happen?
Dude, are you speaking German now? 'Cause
That's
it's such a good
English.
Such a good accent.
Germans, pull up the number of Germans that die. Germans die everywhere. Bro, there was a period in Florida where Germans were dying 10 at a time just out of the airport. They had to stop.
Oh, because they were getting robbed.
They had to change the laws on license plates in America for rental cars in Florida
Because they were getting jacked.
because of Germans.
Yeah.
This is a
Germans
real thing.
No,
Germans are the
it's
patsy
not.
of the world.
It's not Coyote. And I don't know what the fuck. It's as bad as real as that terrible accent.
Right.
Now,
German,
wait, so-
German. Look at World War II. There was a ton that got killed.
Yeah, I know. That's World War II. God
'cause it
damn
was a
Bert.
war.
You're off
Holy
topic right now.
shit.
You're fucking.
World War I. It was even worse.
I know that, dude. You're fucking off topic.
Okay, go back to.
So how does that pertain to the
It
crocodile?
doesn't.
Well, I mean,
crocodiles.
let's not make it Germans. Let's make it any human
Yeah.
that enters into an environment with a saltwater crocodile.
They're coming right at you.
They're merciless.
They're
yes.
coming right at you.
Their
No,
food,
they're fucking aggressive.
Okay, so when we did saltwater crocodiles, we worked with an expert team. Like, you have to have special permits to get into the places where, like, you can get close to really film them. But these crocodiles are completely wild, but habituated to know that, okay, if a boat's coming, you guys are going to get me to come up. We wanted to show the power of these things. You know, you can see that picture there, that crocodile jumping out of the water. That may be in the same place that we were filming. So you've got these 17-foot massive salties that can launch up out of the water, and we're dangling pieces of chicken off the side to show you the
dragons.
power. They're literal
And they
dragons.
don't just kill you, Brian. They take you back to their lair and sit with you in their mouth for a day.
Yeah, you're
and
dead
For a day,
pretty
your
fast
dead
now.
body is sitting in a crocodile's
Well,
mouth.
hold on, you, not me. 'Cause I,
Not.
what
By
I
the way,
do.
if
I
anyone's
carry
getting
a
attacked
stick.
by a crocodile in
I
this
carry
room,
a
it's
stick.
definitely me.
Look at the size of that one. Look at
They're
that
huge.
one. Look at that
You
one.
did not get in the water, right?
No.
Oh, thank
but
God.
I did ask the questions of what would happen if, like, I jumped off this boat into this mud. How quickly would one of these crocodiles just go after me? And the girl I was working with was like, immediately. Like, you wouldn't even know what happened. They're so fast.
There was a story I heard of a couple sitting on a dock in Australia up in the north, and they were sitting there having a beer, and the guy heard a noise, turned around, and his girl was gone. A croc snagged her off the dock, and her family found her in his mouth. I've heard so many horror stories
ambush
about
predators.
crocodiles that I
Look at that.
get.
Look at that.
Oh God! Fuck that! Germans. That's filled with fucking Germans.
I don't know,
I guarantee
Bert.
you that's German.
Bert, I don't know.
Look at their hats. Tell me that's not a German guy on his hat.
I don't know. That might be Costa Rica.
No, well,
Is that a Costa Rica? Is that an American
I don't know.
crocodile?
That is not Costa Rica. There
Oh,
is
no,
not a
that's the
crocodile
Adelaide
that
River.
big.
This is where we filmed.
That is
Adelaide
not
River are where
Costa
the
Rica.
biggest saltwater crocs are.
That is
Some of the
Australia.
biggest.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
The difference between the crocs there and the ones in Kenya.
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
So saltwater
AIDS.
crocodile versus Nile crocodile, the two most dangerous non-venomous reptiles on the planet. So Nile crocs, just like salties, will take down anything that they have an opportunity to grapple, right? So the episode that we did focused on saltwater crocs, the one that you guys know about because of pictures like this. But then there's also something called the freshwater crocodile, which is the biggest little scaredy cat of a crocodile on the face of the planet. So it's the only true crocodile of Australia because they're only endemic to that continent. And freshies are actually really tough to catch because you get within 20 feet of them and they're like, heck no, I'm not having anything to do with you. Flashlight sounds. So we ended up catching a freshwater crocodile in a completely different water system that still had salties. So it's dangerous to go out at night into a river system trying to catch freshies when there's also
water?
salty. Yeah, in the water.
You were in the water, and there are salties in the area. Coyote.
The possibility of salties is definitely prevalent, but the water's not as deep
Coyote
as what
Peterson,
this is.
you can't do that.
I can, and if a salty had presented itself, you better believe I would have tried to catch it to get it on camera.
Do you feel like this is your parents'
gonna
fault
catch
for
it?
naming you Coyote?
I was gonna say-
like it gives you an adventurous life. Like I got Bert, I was going to be a comedian.
Right.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was Bryan. He had to stand out. He had to be funny.
Yeah.
You got Coyote, and you're like, fuck. I guess I belong.
Well,
knee
it
deep
does
in
come
mud.
from my mom nicknaming me Coyote after the Warner Brothers cartoon and the Roadrunner. You guys saw what happened to the Coyote all the time, so maybe it's just like, well, you're due for self-destruction at some point.
But you can't listen to me.
Yeah.
I like you. You're a good guy. And you're important. My kids worship you. I can't have you getting in the water where salties are around.
Right,
Weren't
right.
you nervous as fuck?
No, because when I say getting in the water, there's also a lot of like care and precision that's done to make sure that, okay, if I'm going through this body of water, it's very unlikely that I'm going to run into a salty, right? So at the deepest, I was maybe like thigh deep in water going after freshies.
What I've seen is people can scuba dive with salties, though.
You can at a certain time of year when the temperatures are cooler. So when it's real cold and they're underwater, you have to remember, we also did another episode on something called a Jacqueday Caiman, which is another crocodilian. It's like a mix between a crocodile and an alligator, and I swam with them. These are 9-foot Caiman. So Jacqueday is spelled Yacare. These Caiman are wicked looking creatures, right? I mean, this looks like something that would willingly attack you.
They won't do anything.
I was in the water surrounded by these things and they don't touch you. Like they'll come right up. I mean, I was inches from open mouths underwater to get these incredible shots to dispel the idea that all crocodilians are out there to eat you.
It's really only Nile and saltwater crocodiles.
Right. And you know, I mean,
Nile
American
crocs,
alligators will grab
Yes, they
people
will.
occasionally
Yes, they
too.
will.
I grew up in Florida. Yeah, they will.
They will.
they will.
The big thing is that's their hunting strategy, right? So the people that you've seen swimming with Nile crocodiles or saltwater crocodiles are swimming with them at a point when temperatures are at a certain low point that they're not real active. And when you're underwater in scuba equipment, these reptiles look at you, they're like, you're not something I would be eating. When you're on the shoreline, they're looking at a shape.
Yep.
And they're like, that's something I'm going to eat. We're the size of the mammals that they take down, right? So we're like a two-legged deer, and they don't discriminate 2 legs versus 4 legs. That's a target. I'm going to take it. But underwater, I'm not saying you're safe and that anybody should just go do that. That's definitely not the case. But that's how you get their shots.
do get killed in Australia a year.
It's so much that when we went to Australia, and I don't know if you had the Board of Tourism with you, they were like, hey, don't bring up how many people we lose a year. They were like, don't talk about the spiders, the snakes. They have all the venomous snakes. They have all the venomous spiders. They have gray white sharks. They have crocodiles. Like they're like, please don't bring this up.
It is fewer than you would think, though. It's fewer than you would think
guess.
because
Let's all pick a number.
We could probably look it up.
114.
I think it's definitely fewer than 100 people a year. It's less. It might be. I think it's less than 50 people a year that are getting killed by crocodiles. It's because
Crocodiles?
Animals. 114.
you saying animals in general or crocodiles?
Crocodiles.
You want Crocs?
I would go crocs.
I'm going to say 10.
But animals altogether, I mean, there's more people that get killed every year by dogs than people that get killed by crocodiles, probably.
I would imagine.
A lot of people get attacked by dogs.
Are you counting allergies?
No, I'm counting just like wounds, sustaining wounds from people getting attacked by dogs. Yeah. But the thing is, people have become what's called croc-wise, right? Like the parks and rec departments, everybody, the wildlife societies in Australia are doing a really great job helping people recognize the signs.
1,000 people a year killed by crocodiles.
No, that's not right.
It says it's been estimated 1,000 people a year.
No, I would argue that being a internet taboo.
Holy fuck, that's Wikipedia.
Wikipedia you can rely on.
Oh, that's not just in Australia. That's around the world.
yeah.
Around the world, that might make sense in Africa, parts of Africa.
Okay, those
India.
are probably many that are estimated to be unaccounted for. There are a lot of people that live in indigenous areas,
Get
especially in
murdered.
Africa, that end up.
So in India, they had this crazily inflated number of people that were killed by cobras. And they were like, this makes no sense. 10,000 people doesn't make sense. People like you who were like, doesn't make sense. How? And what they found was that a lot of people, when you brain your wife in a domestic dispute, they would be like, she got bit by a cobra. Yeah, let's keep it quiet. So
Right.
a lot of it was sort of, there were rural parts that were. And if you killed somebody, it would be like the way you covered it up was by saying he got bit by a cobra.
or throw them into the crocodile pit. But here's the thing with cobras, because there's a lot of snake charmers that have those snakes in their houses.
Yes.
That may be more realistic. But so the most venomous snakes live in Australia, but very few people die from them because they've done such a good job, these different venom milking programs. We worked with the top facilities in Australia to milk not only the most deadly snakes, but also the most deadly spider in the world, which is called the Sydney funnel web spider. This thing is a literal living nightmare. And if you're bitten by one, you 100% will die. If you're bitten by a male spider, if you do not receive antivenom.
Is that right?
It is the only spider that 100% will kill you if you don't receive antivenom.
Damn.
We have black widows at our
It's that
house.
strong? The venom is that strong?
Yep, you can be dead. And again, remember, I think we talked about this before with venom.
Ooh.
It's all about how your body reacts to the venom. But
Jesus.
even if you're reacting in a healthy state and you don't go into anaphylactic shock, like in less than 12 hours, you're dead from this bite.
No thanks. Look at that thing. Those are some sharp fangs.
So those fangs are longer than the fangs of any snake in Australia. So Australia doesn't have
How
any
big
pit
is that
vipers.
actual size? Is that the size of
They're
a
about
penny?
this big.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
And the thing is, they're aggressive. So you see what they're doing there? They have this defensive pose where they rear up so that those fangs can get into like action pose, and then they grapple onto you. And because they're curved, like you can't get them off. It's not like your little house spider that you're like, you're brushing off your leg. It latches on, and you have to like rip it off of you.
Dude, what the fuck?
Crazy,
How much
right?
time do you have before you get anti-venom?
I mean, the great thing is, so the Australian reptile park that we worked with, they're producing like tons and tons of venom by milk. So you see there's venom coming off of the fangs there. So they milk that, but it takes thousands and thousands of milkings to create this anti-venom serum. But there has not been a death from a Sydney funnel web spider in something like the last 15 years or something like
Good
that.
for them. That is awful.
It's making a huge
That
difference.
terrifies me. That scares the fuck out of me.
They're legit scary. In the episode that we did when I caught a male, so it's the male that's the most dangerous. So we caught one, and the way we filmed the scene was we brought it out into this flat area of ground, and I laid on the ground with it. So we had the camera super low, which is engaging for the audience.
Can't have you
This
do
spider is inches from my face as I'm
Coyote,
presenting. It's
can't
pretty
have you
intense.
do this.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing, I think.
God damn it,
Unless
you
it gets my
think.
lip or something like that.
I know, dude.
Wait, hold on. This is insane. So wait, just out of a production sense, 'cause I worked on Travel Channel for like 9 years. Did they brought the spider to you, and you guys didn't go into the wild and catch
Oh no, I
one?
found it in the wild. Yeah,
Found it in the wild?
that's the cool thing about Brave the Wild is every single animal. We do not
you guys are
stage
great
or
about
source
that.
anything.
For
And
real.
that's the thing that's made Brave Wilderness so pure as a brand and a channel. Is everything you see, I'm catching every one of these animals, and then you always see them released back into the wild.
You
So
know,
you won't cheat anything.
No.
You go that's because
I
I was
do.
that way. I was
And
like, don't make it where I'm like I've got to act with a fucking snake.
You can't. The only scenarios that we ever stage would be if we're working with a wildlife sanctuary and we're clearly saying to you, we're working with this conservation group today. I'm being put into this position. But spiders, any sort of reptiles, as often as possible, the mammals, yes, everything happens naturally.
In India, when the British had colonized India, they were having major problems with cobras. Cobras were a real thing. And so the British decided, we got to get rid of cobras. So they said, we'll pay. They put out a thing. We'll pay you $5, whatever it was, for every cobra you catch. And so people started coming with dead cobras, and they would get their money. Problem was that there seemed to be more cobras. There seemed to be more and more cobras. And what, of course, the Indians were doing was breeding cobras. because they can get $5 from the fucking British.
Oh, that's fucking
So there were
brilliant.
huge pits of cobras.
Just making
so then when
an
the British
industry.
found out, they're like, we're not doing this anymore. And then they let all the cobras free. And it was just a fucking disaster.
It's like that flood. You hear about that flood that flooded out the crocodile park?
Yeah, the Australian Reptile
What?
Park is exactly where the place I'm talking
Wait,
about
what
where we
happened?
worked.
What happened?
There was huge. So there's a lot of problems happening with the wildfires right now in Australia, right? But in some areas, there's actually an insurmountable deluge of rain coming down. So along the coast where the Australian Reptile Park is, they had massive flooding. Yeah, you're on it right now. And like they have this huge alligator pit. Alligators obviously don't exist naturally in Australia, but they have them there as part of the park. And the alligators were starting to like get up and over out of what the enclosures were.
Oh, that's a big problem.
Well, and you can, as you can see, a broom clearly holds them back. I
was gonna say,
push
yeah.
broom.
That's a big fucking
They
alligator.
are amazingly powerful animals.
They are. So the largest alligator I've ever caught. We did a really cool series with
at
Jurassic
that.
World a couple years ago, and we did this awesome setup where we compared the American alligator to Tyrannosaurus Rex, and we caught what we called a T-Rex sized alligator. It was like a 650-pound, 13-foot American alligator, and it's just crazy how they're like dinosaurs. The power is just unbelievable.
Jesus.
But yeah, so
And
it's crazy.
Your new show, basically, you go all over the world. Have you been to India?
I've not been to India yet. No.
But you go all over the world, and you are doing what? Tell us more about.
So for season 1 of Brave the Wild, we filmed in Australia, South America, Costa Rica, and the United States.
Did you do the Vens de Mearns? The Ven. What's the one that bought that? I'm gonna say, but when you say it, you're gonna go, oh, I know what you're trying to say. What's this? He bit the guy from Naked and Afraid's foot, and the guy almost lost his
Oh,
foot.
the
Fer de
Fairlands.
Lance.
That's
Fer de
it.
Lance.
Fer de Lance. You know what Fer de Lance means?
See, that's what I was trying to say.
It means
Did you
sword
fuck
of fire.
with the Fer de Lance?
Sword of
Oh
fire.
yeah, I've caught plenty of Fer de Lance. Yeah, I actually have a pretty crazy Fer de Lance story that I'll tell to you quickly, and then I'll
Please
get
share.
back into where we did.
share.
So they're incredibly well camouflaged, right? It's arguably the most dangerous snake in Central and South America because they're very prevalent, they're very well camouflaged, and
Aggressive,
people
right?
stumble upon them. They're aggressive in that like they let you know if you get close, right? They're like, don't step on me, I'm gonna bite you. But their venom is so insanely potent that people have a hard time getting antivenom. So we're filming in Costa Rica with a completely different snake species that I'd found on a tree. And whenever you stop to film, you look around you to be like, okay, cool, there's nothing in the area. There's this palm leaf coming down that was hiding a 3-foot Fer de Lance under it. We did not see it. So I literally crouched down inches from this snake, and in the middle of shooting this scene with a different snake that I'd taken off a tree, one of my behind the scenes guys is like, Coyote, Fer de Lance, and I thought it was like a Fer de Lance like slithering out from the darkness toward us. So I just jump up quick, naturally. I kid you not, this snake is curled up inches from me, and the way I was crouched, if it had struck out and bit me, I would have probably been bitten near my kidneys, right? Probably would have killed me because there's no way to stop that venom. If you're bitten on your foot or your arm, at least there's a slower track to hitting your vital organs. So you get bit on your kidney.
Always fucking wondered this.
Venom getting towards your vital
I've
organs
always
is way
fucking
worse.
wondered this.
Yes.
Way worse.
Way worse. So I was just fortunate. The snake didn't bite me. There's footage of it. And when you're watching the scene before it's called out, you can see the Fer de Lance in the shot the entire time.
Dude.
Yeah.
Do
Crazy,
you know the
right?
number one reason people fall out of trees?
Because they're bad at
Was
climbing?
they bitten by Fer de Lances?
No, they grab onto a snake thinking it's a branch. Number one reason people fall out of
I don't
trees.
ever get that
Those are
lucky.
Germans.
Germans at such a fucking
I don't know if
quick
that's
clip.
Googleable. I don't know if that's Googleable, but
Type
thank
in how
you.
many Germans fall out of trees.
All right, man. That seems like a lot. I know it's over 1 million.
They're
but
like
still.
iguanas these days. They're just falling out of trees left and right.
They live in trees.
So go back to your show. I'm
So
sorry.
yeah, so back to where we've traveled, quite a few locations this first season. I mean, my whole career is traveling to as many places as possible, but it's really about getting into the Brave the Wild, the purpose, right? Because for television, it's bigger than just doing, a 10-minute segment on YouTube. We focus in on what may be like the apex predator of an environment, and not something like a lion or a tiger, something that you've never heard of before. Like a longfin eel is an apex predator in that river ecosystem, but you never heard of it. You wouldn't think that. I mean, this thing is an absolute nightmare for any other animal that comes across. So we focus in on these animals you don't know a lot about, tell you their story, how they're surviving, and if there's something that people are afraid of or some folklore or a misnomer, we try to dispel people's fears towards these things. So when I sit here and tell you about crocodiles, the whole purpose of that episode is to say not all crocodiles are out to get you. If you put yourself in range of a salty, That's on you.
Oh,
You're
saying
how many times a year does a salty eat?
As frequently, they eat every day if they can.
Oh, they will.
Oh, they'll gorge themselves. The bigger and fatter a big male salty can get, the more dominant he is.
Oh, so
yeah, they'll just eat and eat and eat. Yeah,
and they can digest horns and everything.
Everything, bone, all of it. It just kind of decomposes in their stomach, and they'll occasionally eat rocks that they'll eat kind of bounce around inside there to help break that down, and then they have a big crocodile poop, whatever that looks like. I've never seen a crocodile poop, but yeah.
Jesus.
That'd be a great diet plan if they could feed us rocks and we could process food faster.
Probably help a lot of people's digestion. I had that
acidity.
Right?
I saw a guy, a zoologist told me he saw in Uganda a crocodile eat a tire. Because they'll eat anything. Thing ate a fucking tire. And he was like,
I mean, if it smells like it might be food, yeah. Wow. Because they don't discriminate.
So how many episodes, what places do you visit?
So season 1 was a pretty big order for us with Animal Planet. So you got to keep in mind, I went from YouTube to the first time ever making a TV show. And what's cool about this isn't Coyote got a TV show. This is Wilderness Productions, my company producing the whole thing.
Oh, good
so
job.
we got
By the way, great idea because you're going to get just a bunch of people to fuck it up if you don't take care of it.
And I was going to ask you, Coyote, why you would go from YouTube where you were a sensation and got so many people to see you to Animal Planet. What was the intent?
Because for me, I'm a lot of behind the scenes, right? I'm not just a guy that pops in front of a camera to tell you about animals. I'm a producer, director, and writer first and foremost. So I have the vision for what the show is. And when Animal Planet came to me, I love our relationship. They're fantastic. I've been a huge Animal Planet fan since I was a little kid, growing up on Irwin and Corwin and all that. And when they came and offered us the show, I said, the only way I'm going to segue from YouTube, because we still produce YouTube while producing TV at the same time, is to say I have to have full creative control. I have to be the one telling the stories, picking the locations.
You should be.
Targeting the animals, and they were very much.
Who are they going to bring in that trumps you?
Nobody knows. Nobody. Well, your thing is your enthusiasm, and frankly, your childlike enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm a permanent 12-year-old in a 38-year-old's body.
Yeah,
me too.
You are too.
39.
You are too. You're only 39?
47.
No, I'm not saying I'm 53 on Sunday. I feel so old, man.
You don't look old, man. Wait, are you really 47?
Yeah.
Oh, I would not have guessed that.
I know. I
think as we get older, I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. We might be getting older, but I feel like everybody's staying younger because of the way technology forces up to keep up with everything.
When you're doing, I think all three of us are doing what we absolutely love.
Exactly.
I don't know what else I'd be doing besides this. And I was walking in, on my set of my TV show. I'm at Sony, and it's 6 a.m. I hate waking up early. I'm always late. I'm the worst. But I'm walking there, and I'm tired. It's my 4th day up at 5:30, and I looked at the beige walls that are Sony. You shoot on these massive sound lots stages, and I just had this overwhelming sense of gratitude, and I just went, I'm doing what I always dreamed of doing. I just felt so lucky. I was like, it's 5 a.m. or whatever it is, but this is amazing. It was cold, and I was in shorts, but I was just like, and I think when you are engaged on that level, you do feel young. In fact, if anything, you become more conscientious about your energy and you get more disciplined because it's what you want to do.
Right. Well, once you get there, you got to stay there. Yeah. That's the big thing.
You've been I feel like, Bert, you have in the past year or maybe year and a half have blown the fuck up with just your own ability to do crazy we talk about it on the podcast all the time. Your social media, you're such a fucking machine with the way you do it.
You. Well, I'm the opposite of Coyote. What happened for me was I was at Travel Channel for 9 years. I was doing stand up, looking for something to happen. Did the Animal Planet stuff. Did any pilot they brought me. This is before the internet. Got on Travel Channel and was there for 9 years. And I just I got bored. One day I was I feel like a stripper. I was I'm making good money. I'm having a blast, but I'm not really learning anything, and I'm watching my friends just leapfrog me and do I remember Segura went to theaters, and I was like, shit. So what I did is the opposite of what you did. I took what I learned at Travel Channel about cameras and editing and shots and all that, and I applied it to my business. And I thought we were doing a weight loss challenge, and I was like, I know how to slide music into a cut, make it sound, edit out a part of the song so it's shorter and it sounds great. And I remember Rogan was the first one that called me. He was like, dude, you did some stupid video on a fucking treadmill. I can't stop watching it. What song is that? And I was like, I told him. And then I started doing a vlog. I started doing it all. That's how I found you, is I became really interested in guys like you who are doing your own thing. And I was from the system. And so then what happened was my only thing I ever cared about was anyone seeing me do stand-up. And so then I just took all the shit that I stole from guys like you, Casey Neistat, Ben Brown, Fun for Louie, all these really great, talented YouTubers, and I just applied it to my business of going like, what would be fun and funny to draw eyes to my Instagram to sell tickets to a tour date. And so I just started doing that, and it was always fun. Like, and by the way, I'll say I stole from other greats like me and Tom started this battle, and I watched the way you and Dalia and you and Shab would bust balls, and Tom and I were doing that, and I went, oh, I'm interested in like the fact that Theo's room was next door, and I'm like, that is interesting to me. And so in a weird way, it's
me
like
and Shab yesterday had a wrestling match.
Yeah.
I got beat up by Shab. Like that would be the equivalent of wrestling with a bear.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that turn out?
He's that strong. Well, it didn't turn out. He could kill me with his bare hands very quickly. But what's funny is that so many people loved it. They love that kind of...
Dude, it's such an authentic... Like, and it's like, so I'm doing the tour. My tour starts January 30th in Burlington, Vermont, 2 shows, Birdie Boy World Tour. But it's like all I did was I'm going the opposite direction as you.
Right.
Because I did what you did on a smaller level. I was doing dangerous stuntman stuff, and I started resenting my crew because I felt like they wanted me to get hurt. I had a show called Hurt Burt where I swam with great white sharks out of a cage. I was a dominatrix gimp. I was a professional MMA fighter for a day. Like, I fought the Gracies. I did everything, and I started resenting my crew. And I felt like I was like, if I die, they're just getting great footage. So when you say my crew's so on, if they stay on the shot, I was like, yeah, my crew did too. I fell off a fucking waterfall, and they just rolled on me as I was like going, guys, I think I broke my back. And they were like, and how are you feeling right now? And I was like, hey, I literally called my director and was like, hey man, I feel like you weren't there for me when I fell off a waterfall. And he's like, well, I don't know what to film and what not to film. And I was like, and so that's what I wanted to ask you about this show is like, is there ever a point where you go, hey guys, camera's down, I'm fucking hurting? Like, because that's happened to me. I got concussed by the fucking the XFL. I got choked out by the Gracies. I mean, I've had so much shit happen to me where I'm very distrustful of a production crew.
Right.
All right, here's the thing about Raycon earbuds. They sent me a pair for free because they put their money where their mouth is, and they wanted to see if I would endorse them. I'm not going to tell you guys about anything that I don't actually believe in, that I haven't actually tried. And I have these in, and I'm actually listening to music while I talk to you, all right? And you know what? They sound pretty darn good. They really do. Let's see. I'm going to play another song. This is going to tell. Very clear sound. And they feel really good in my ears. See, the problem with the other ones made by a certain company that's, named after a fruit is that they fall out of your ears. These do not. I can work out in them. So I'm already a fan. And I'm listening. As I'm talking to you, I'm listening to the Indigo Girls, Romeo and Juliet. And it's so clear. I endorse these. They're great. They're great, and they feel good in my ears. Okay, well, they start about half the price of the other premium wireless earbuds on the market. All right? Oh my God, I have to turn it down. And that's huge. That really is huge because the earbuds that you get from, say, other companies costs between $160 and $270. These average around, I looked it up, half that. So latest model, the E25 is their best one yet with 6 hours of playtime. 6 hours. So it's got a great battery life, seamless Bluetooth pairing. I just paired it in 1 second with my phone. More bass and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. They're comfortable. I just told you that they were in my ears and they feel like something I could run in and spin kick if I get in a street fight. Very important for me because I like to fight and I don't like my music in the way. I don't like it to be interrupted when I have to take a gang out or I have to stop a crime. So we're talking about wireless, co-founded by Ray J and I guess Snoop Doggy Dogg and Cardi B. I don't really care about any of that. All right. I really don't. I just care that they're good. So I don't care what celebrity's behind these things. And by the way, that means they're endorsing it. It doesn't mean they developed it. But whoever developed them seems like a good product. So You can get the latest and the greatest from Raycon. 15% off your order at buyraycon, RAYCON.com/TFATK. That's buyraycon.com/TFATK for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Just as good as any earbuds. I'm telling you this because I just tried them and they seem pretty awesome. They feel heavy and they feel like they're good quality. So there it is. Raycon earbuds. They're putting their money where their mouth is. If you want the best supplements on planet Earth, we say this all the time. We just talked about me and Bert Kreischer were talking about On It. They've got this new formulated Alpha Brain. Look, if you're dealing with focus, if you want to deal with better sleep, better digestive health, better support and vitality, whether it's creatine, so many of their products are not only taken by the founders and the owners, by me, by people that actually endorse this stuff. I know so many athletes that swear by it. I think that Shroom Tech sport, I am telling you, it's not a panacea. I am telling you that stuff works. If you want a better workout, try that Shroom Tech support and email me or DM me and tell me if I'm not right about that. I think I know it increases your endurance. And I feel my muscles, I don't know what it is, dude. Because the reason I know it works is because I was like, I'm kicking better and my body felt more pliable, but I wasn't getting tired after a long workout. And I know for a fact that stuff works. So onit.com/fighter for the best supplements on planet Earth. Get it now.
We're just laughing because you're earbuds.
I know.
Right. Well, okay. So yeah, to answer that, to be clear, my team that I work with is handpicked by me, and a lot of these guys are my boys that I've been with since like college, right?
Yeah.
So these aren't people that got hired to come in and help me make a show. Like,
But do you ever have a guy show up one day and he's like, "Hey, let's fuck this guy up"?
No, they're good guys.
We don't.
I've met those guys. They're all good guys.
We
You
don't
guys are
have.
friends.
There's no influence from anybody to ever direct me in a direction. Like, I'm master and commander of the ship, and everybody knows that. I will let them know if we ever need to stop doing something. And again, you have to keep in mind, a lot of the risks and the crazy stuff you see me do are also very well calculated. We do a lot of research before I'm ever intentionally bitten or stung by something. And yes, something could go wrong in any instance. You could walk out your front door and get hit by a garbage truck, you know?
Well, is there one animal that scares the shit out of you?
Well, when I got bitten by that giant desert centipede, which the last time I was on here was before I had done the execution wasp and the giant desert centipede, and then I ended up going through it.
You said the executioner wasp was worse than the tarantula hawk?
It was the execution wasp, but actually, what's also worse than the tarantula hawk is the Japanese giant hornet, which got a ton of attention because people get killed by Japanese giant hornets every year.
And I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, dude, that one
you got stung by that?
Yeah,
back it up and tell me the whole story.
Let me see that shit.
Tell me the whole story. Oh, fuck off!
Fuck you!
So
That
there's
looks like a
my
cartoon.
thumbnail right there. No,
That's
not,
you?
That's not me. See the one with the finger pointing at it? Down one, over
God.
the left. With the little coyote head, up one. There you go. So that's the actual thumbnail for the video.
That's you?
Yes. So
Dude, and you're telling me that because they sting your face melts or something, I heard.
my arm swelled up to almost 3 times its normal size. When its stinger went into my arm, we caught this all in like slow motion. It was like getting hit in the face by Mike Tyson. Dude, I saw stars and like toppled over backwards.
What?
That hornet
Look at the
is
size of it, dude.
Insanely powerful.
Look at how big it is.
do you
They're
have-
huge. And they attack you. They'll attack people?
They will if you disturb a nest, but they're not going to go out of their way to attack
Bro,
people.
and that guy has it on his hand?
Yeah.
Now, why is that?
God, somebody, I'm a little crazy, I guess.
Does it die after
but
it stings you?
No.
Will they
It can sting
sting
over and
you?
over again.
Will they sting you if they're on your? It's on your hand like that.
So in an instance like that, because I don't know how this photograph was taken or what the context of it is, one could walk on you and not feel threatened. Now, if you were to apply pressure to it, its immediate instinct is like, I don't want to get squished. I sting to help myself get away.
But otherwise, it'll walk.
They're pretty harmless. What they do is they're known as bee assassins. So hornets will come in and just eradicate a
30,000
honeybee
feet.
nest.
They'll kill 30,000 bees.
30,000 bees just come in and decapitate everybody.
They bite their heads off. Boom,
Just
boom.
bite their heads off one after another after another. So beekeepers in Japan, this is a real threat for them. Like they try
That's not
to.
real.
That's not real.
Okay,
That's
baby, I was
a
like, shit.
beekeepers in Japan are constantly fighting against Japanese giant hornets, and it's probably beekeepers that end up getting stung by them the most because they're, you try to kill a hornet, it's not going to be happy about that. But we managed to catch one, and I did manage to get stung by it, and so that doesn't necessarily scare me. But it was the giant desert centipede that was a really tough one to be bitten by.
Why?
Because the venom is so potent. The way the venom works with a giant desert centipede. So if you search that, I'll probably come up right away. So there's our thumbnail of me putting it up to my finger, and that's also it on my arm.
Coyote, what the Coyote? Hold on. I can't. They're so horrifying to me.
They are, because all of their little legs have hooks on them and you can't get them off. So this is a bite. Bites and stings, very different things, right? More venom comes from a bite. The way their venom works is it literally attacks your blood cells, gets inside and explodes them from the inside out. So as this venom's working,
happened to you?
Yes, you can feel the venom burning and killing your cells on the inside of your arm.
Where did you do this?
On my forearm.
And you don't have any after effect?
I had after effects for about 6 weeks. 6 weeks in this giant, it was kind of like the size of the size of a BB times 3. So maybe like the size of a marble, a ball that formed in my arm, insanely itchy. This was the only incident where I actually had to seek medical attention. 9 hours into the bite, the pain was so intense. My arm was so swollen. It was like a hot dog that was going to pop. I was I was afraid that.
God.
What did they do?
They give me very strong adult Advil, aka good painkillers.
Morphine.
So wait, I've had a Scotch
that's all
bonnet
they can
pepper,
so there's where the bites happen.
That's what you did there. You just held you're such a nut.
I had to hold it to my arm, and it bit me. And the thing was, it was latched on, and after it bit, it swung its head and bit me a second time. So I got bitten twice in one go at it.
Is there a point of meditative, in the pain? Like I was saying, I had a Scotch bonnet pepper, and at a certain point, it's almost like being in a free fall. You start not thinking about life, and you're just going, get me through this. Like, come on, baby, come on, here we go. Come on, let's just go. And it's almost cleansing in like a spiritual way. Do you find that with the pain?
That's interesting that you bring that up. I have a very high pain tolerance, strangely enough. And I don't say that to be like, oh, I'm a tough guy. I do, which is what makes this possible. But yes, I do reach a meditative state when it's not usually in the pain that happens initially. It's you stub your toe or you cut yourself on a piece of paper and get a paper cut. Eventually that pain goes away. When it's something like this and that pain escalates over time. It escalates. So we're done filming the scene and you wrap and you're like, oh, we got what it is.
It bites you?
Oh, insanely. Yes. It's like insanely. You can feel the venom going into your body.
That's one of my favorite answers I've ever seen. Oh, insanely.
Yeah, it's no joke. I mean, and there are giant centipedes like in Vietnam and stuff like that have venom powerful enough to kill a human if you were to be bitten in the right spot. And again, a lot of times it's how your body reacts to the venom. And in many instances, I mean, just a bite and the pain can send a person into cardiac arrest because your heart, your internal system doesn't know how to deal with what you're going through.
I hate centipedes.
They're creepy. I won't say I hate them because they serve a purpose, but they put
an uncomfortable fear into me, and I think I'm so squeamish about them that they're horrifying. They look horrifying.
It is a living alien nightmare. And the thing, again, that's so scary about them is like, imagine one of those crawling up your pant leg. Every one of those little legs you see has a hook on it. So they grapple onto you and then they bite and chew it. I mean,
why would they do that to it? They don't do that usually to a human.
Well, they don't unless, you're out camping in the desert and you're in a sleeping bag that's on the ground and you're not in a cot and one of those goes in your sleeping bag and all of a sudden you wake up and what's happening to me and this thing is in your sleeping bag.
Why would it do that in your fucking sleeping bag, Coyote?
Well, it wouldn't intentionally, but if it goes into your sleeping bag exploring around for something to eat and then you roll over on it, it's thinking, don't squish me, I'm going to bite you.
This is why I'm not camping in Vietnam, and I had plans, and now I got to cancel
Change
my
your
flights.
I camped in Vietnam in the world's largest cave. And the one thing they said were bats and centipedes.
Yeah, no, the centipedes.
And then walking in, it was a 6-hour walk into the jungle to get there in Vietnam. Hiked through the jungle, and the one thing they said were, stop grabbing onto trees. You will grab onto what you think is a tree. It'll be a pit viper.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was the most unenjoyable.
I saw an eyelash viper.
An eyelash viper?
On Costa Rica, or maybe it's a...
It's an eyelash viper. Yeah, that little points on top of their eyes.
It's so funny. I have a lucky long eyelash that's like 2 inches long right now.
Yeah.
So if you see it, don't pull it. But I have a really long eyelash. That was a really hard.
I don't know if that's
bad
Eyelash
segue.
vipers are honestly pretty docile, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can get
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're amazing snakes. They come in a bunch of different color
I
phases.
really,
and-
you know, I swear to God, Coyote, I don't know about this, but like, I of course, evolution. Any scientist will tell you that evolution is a theory that is so provable. It's basically like the theory of gravity. However, there's got to be more to the story. There's got to be more to the story than evolution. This has to be some kind of a simulation we're living in. Look at that fucking thing. Look at how beautiful they are. When I look at certain animals, they're so impossibly beautiful that I don't know.
It looks like a
variety. The variety of everything in the world has to have another. There's got to be maybe.
Show me the letter A.
I mean, look at it.
A.
Look at it. They are so gorgeous.
That top left one does look like a Muppet right there. That looks like a Muppet.
Yeah. Well, now you know where we get our inspiration for some of the weird creatures that are created in cinema. I mean, a lot of
100%.
reptiles gave influence to Spielberg and the Stan Winston team that did everything with Jurassic Park. If you search geckos, like Tokay gecko, for example, a lot of the velociraptor designs and like their eyes and stuff like that came from the eyes of geckos because they're so just prehistoric looking. And while geckos are in no way related to dinosaurs, you can still see though that similarity that exists. And
I was so into reptiles when I was in college. Like I had an iguana, I had a Savannah monitor, I had a Nile monitor for a second, and then I had to give it back, so it was way too aggressive.
Nile monitors are dangerous.
a Nile monitor.
Nile monitor is
Why are they
big,
dangerous? What do you
big
mean?
as fuck.
I've caught a Nile monitor, 5.5, 6 foot Nile monitor.
Oh, mine weren't that
we
big.
caught in
What?
South Africa. Yeah.
Big, dangerous. They'll bite you.
Yep. Well, and this one of the cool episodes we did this year on Brave the Wild to keep my conversation more focused on the show than other random stuff. We caught the largest monitor lizard in Australia, which is called a parenti. So if you search the parenti, this is next to the Komodo dragon. This is Australia's version of the Komodo dragon. And man, they are just so cool. This thing is, when you look at it, you're like, this thing is a velociraptor. For the most part, it's a big lizard. They're very smart.
Whoa.
Would it be great to have one of those living in your backyard?
You could. I mean, some people do. They're very nomadic. People will see them in their backyards and they're not afraid of humans. Like they'll stand their ground and puff up their bodies and they're like, "Go ahead, come close and see what happens if you try to mess with me."
They'll bite you.
They'll rip you apart.
Really?
If one of those gets a hold of your arm, you're going to the hospital.
How big are they?
Like that one right there is probably about 6.5, 7 feet.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and their head is as big as this shoe right here.
So they can eat a dog. I mean, small.
They could, they wouldn't, but they do take down mammals.
Look at
like
the one. Go back to the
wallabies
one
and-
with the back with the dude on it. Shows you how big it is. The German guy right there.
You mean
That guy's
David?
German.
You
That
mean
guy
David
does look
Attenborough?
fucking-
I don't know. That's David
Attenborough?
Attenborough. You know, I don't know if he's German, dude. That's David Attenborough, and I'm gonna have to ask you to stop.
Is that David Attenborough?
It
for
is,
real?
yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Well, he's the guy from Planet Earth. He's the one who always.
Oh, David
Yes.
Attenborough.
They are.
He
they
talks
are,
like this. He's
they
like,
are
oh, right.
giants. They are giants.
Pretty much the godfather of wildlife shows.
Coyote
For real?
Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
is
All right,
my
let's talk
companion.
top five wildlife hosts.
Wildlife hosts of all
Number
time.
Steve Irwin.
Number one, Steve Irwin, based on what I think Steve built. Steve's not my favorite wildlife presenter, though, outside of like what he did for conservation in his career was the most recognized, right? My biggest influence actually was a guy named Marty Stauffer. When I was
Pulled a
growing up,
picture of this
you
guy.
guys remember a show called Wild America?
I do.
So Marty Stauffer
I
was...
remember Marty Stauffer. Yeah.
Wild America, he had the beard and those crazy Christmas sweaters.
Yeah.
And him and his brothers would go out and they were filming all of these animals naturally in the wild on like 16 millimeter film. Like how they were getting the shots they were getting, I have no idea. And he didn't interact with the animals. No, that poster is the bad.
Not the gay porn.
Wild America. And put Marty Stauffer in there and it'll come up.
Let's put.
But Marty Stauffer's great. Also a guy named Austin Stevens. If you catch any of
I know
his shows.
Austin Stevens.
Austin Stevens'
Look at him there.
production quality was just next level.
Wow, look at that. What years were those?
I mean, I would say these are late 80s, early 90s.
God, I remember
And
Wild
he was
America.
probably filming years before that. When you think about how it takes like a decade to make Planet Earth, these guys are out there making episodes. I mean, it's so hard to see some of these things in the wild.
Dude, I can't believe how long it takes. planet Earth. Like the amount of work that went into that.
Yeah,
is so crazy.
it's
Have you ever
crazy.
seen any mountain lions in the wild?
Oh yeah,
You have?
Yeah. I've had mountain lion experiences for sure.
Really?
Yeah, and jaguars too. We had a crazy jaguar encounter, which you don't realize how big a jaguar is
300
until
pound
you are
animal.
from me to that wall.
What?
From a jaguar on the side of the river. I was in a jaguar's den.
What?
And the jaguars were literally 15 yards away from me, and we didn't know it. Setting up trail cameras, and then we do this episode that plays out that
They are
filmed.
not afraid
And that's in the new series?
This is the new series. We filmed this in Brazil.
They'll kill a human
Shut
being.
the fuck up.
On the Humble, we got this episode.
They're very
too.
dangerous. Aren't they? I mean,
I would definitely say that if a jaguar had an opportunity to take down a human, it would probably do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're way bigger than you think.
they're 300
My
pound.
dad says they're
300
not,
pound
not
animals.
very reliable either.
They're not as in
Not
the, like,
reliable.
the
I know a
vehicle.
guy who works with big cats.
Yeah.
He said tigers, because they're solitary animals, they're not so some tigers you can't go in a cage with.
Mm-hmm.
Some they have personalities. Some tigers are actually pretty docile and you can tame. They can be tamed. Don't fall down. Do not fall down.
Or turn your back to a tiger.
That kind of stuff.
Or pull it by its tail.
Or pull it by its tail or
Talking
punch it in the
about tiger's
face.
tail.
Lions more dangerous because they're social animals and they have a pride, so they communicate. Jaguars, he said, forget it. Don't try to tame a jaguar.
Well, what you don't realize about jaguars is so lions hunt with, pride mentality, right? Their goal is to take down their prey by using strategy, but a jaguar hunts using stealth. So that jaguar is going to be there watching you, and it's going to make its move, and you'd never even know it.
Never know it.
Now, did I feel like I was in danger when we were filming jaguars? No, but if you want to have a crazy adrenaline rush, put yourself in the middle of nowhere with jaguars and realize that, yes, they're here, and we're just trying to get them on camera.
How did you? So we're going to see this on your show, right?
That's the
Can you
third
give me
episode,
a
I
little
think.
teaser on why you weren't nervous?
Well, when we were there, so the Jacques Caiman that I was telling you about that we were swimming with, we were there to film with these Caiman, and there were also jaguars in the area because the jaguars hunt the Caiman. So the jaguars move along the shorelines, and so those famous shots that you've seen of jaguars jumping in, like grabbing these crocodiles and pulling them up onto shore, where I was is exactly where these things are happening, right? So for me to be in the water swimming with the Caiman,
Look at those cuddling.
in a camouflage hex aquatic suit, I look just like a Caiman. So there's this danger of swimming
Bad way to
with
wear-
Caiman
bad
and
day
the
to wear your
jaguar being
leopard
like,
print
oh,
jacket.
I'm gonna eat this Caiman that's not swimming as good as the other Caiman,
Bad
right?
idea, yeah.
Yeah, bad idea. But
Now,
in the process,
when you're in the Amazon doesn't have any crocodiles you have to be worried about, right?
So we filmed in an area called the Pantanal, right, which is like the southeastern part of Brazil. And no, there's no crocodiles. It's just caiman. The largest caiman species they have is what's called a black caiman. And those are aggressive. They're dangerous. I mean, if you go out swimming at night in the water, like, yeah, you'll probably get eaten by one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
By a black caiman.
Yeah, black caiman would definitely eat a human if it had
Is
a
that
chance.
true? How big are they?
They can grow up to about 12 feet in length.
Oh shit, I didn't know
Of
that.
all the caiman species, the black caiman is definitely the most dangerous.
Oh, I
most of
didn't
them are pretty skittish and docile, but black caiman are up there for
So you
being
don't want to
rather
be in the
dangerous.
water with black caimans?
No.
Oh.
Nope.
And they do eat people.
I'm not saying that they do eat people. I'm saying if you were a human in their environment at the time when they're hunting, there's a good chance it would try to eat you.
And they're big animals.
They are, and they have killed people. So it's fair to say.
Okay.
I'm trying to phrase it to say they don't go out of their way to eat people, but if you're a person and you're dumb enough to go into the environment at the time where an animal like this would be hunting,
big are
yes. They can grow about 12 feet. They max out at and
Jesus
can
Christ.
tip the scales around 350 to 400 pounds.
It's a huge animal.
It is, but and that doesn't sound that heavy, except for the fact that, and no, that's not right. They don't grow up to 20 feet long. This is bad internet. Animal Corner, whatever that is not accurate. So yeah, it's the power
believed
that's
it.
the most dangerous,
looking at the
right?
meters.
Power.
The power in these animals that's so dangerous. Once they grapple onto something, they have in their mind that like, oh, this is prey. You're not getting away.
The power is
You're in a lot of
overwhelming.
trouble.
I fought a bear one time.
I don't know if that's true, Bert. When was this? I need to get specific with
I
it.
fought a bear
Okay,
in
now you see what you're doing? You're looking up.
2002.
You don't know the exact date?
No, I was for a TV show I had
Where
called
were
Hurt
you?
Bert.
What kind of bear was it?
Just up to 5.
Up to 5?
swear to God.
Okay, you say you swear to
I
God.
tried tamed lions that day.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to ask you what kind of bear it was, Bert.
Grizzly. Big fucking.
There are
Remember
no
the bear's
grizzlies.
name?
Bam Bam.
Okay, see again.
Type in Bam Bam the bear. Type in Bam Bam the bear. He's like just on the 5.
So you fought a
tamed
studio bear.
Yeah, studio bear. I didn't go out in the fucking woods.
You didn't go Revenant DiCaprio against the
Wait,
bear.
you really did do this?
I really did. I really
I thought
did.
you were kidding.
No, I'm being 100% serious.
What do you mean you wrestled a bear?
So it's a bear that was in it's a movie bear, and so they were like, yeah, you can wrestle him. So I go up for the show. I had heard Bert, and they're like, all right, here we go. There, Bam Bam the grizzly bear. There you go. So, and they go, all right, I think I wrestled Bam Bam's mom, if I'm not mistaken. And so they put her arms on your shoulders. She grabbed onto my ears, and the second I felt just a smidge of her power, I went, oh, I'm helpless. Like you don't realize. You always think you've got some kind of shot in your head. In the wild, you're like, bear shows up. My kids, I stand in front of my kids.
No.
I go for the bears. Like you think you have some.
No,
dude.
Your food, Bob.
She moved.
I can't believe they let you. Was she muzzled?
No,
They just let you wrestle with a bear.
just wrestled a fucking bear.
I would never do that.
I tamed lions that same day, and man, the subtlest when you see the instinct click over and you watch them go like when I went to fight lions, they were like, how do you tame lions? And they go, oh, here, take this fanny pack full of sirloin and this plunger stick with a nail in it. And they're like, that's your meat stick. Don't drop it. Put meat on the tip of the meat stick. They'll pay attention.
Why
to
the plunger part?
It's just a plunger stick.
Oh,
like
okay.
It's that length.
I pictured like a plunger with a nail coming out of it.
Yeah, so did
like
I.
you suction it to the
the
lion's
thing
face.
the thing about animals when you are around a wild animal, I think it's interesting because for human beings, there's something about we're very self-centered as people. Even if you're a giving person, you think of yourself as a human. You think of yourself as the top of the food chain one way or another. When you are with an animal, I pet a cheetah one time. And any kind of animal like that, you realize that they don't care about you, that you are so insignificant to them, that you are either being completely ignored or if they want, they can turn you into food. And it's very humbling. You know, it's kind of awe-inspiring.
Great white sharks, man, they move with such just intention. I was out of the cage with great white sharks just off Catalina, and for the same show, heard Bert. And a great white shark showed up. We were with Blues.
Yeah.
And a great white shark showed up. You always think,
Your heart start racing then, huh?
oh, I jumped out of the water immediately. But it moved so quickly with intention. Like when it wanted to go left, it went left so quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fun. It's really
Have
amazing.
you been in the water with great whites?
I have not filmed great whites yet. I have with tiger sharks and hammerheads and was almost bit in the face by a 14-foot tiger shark. Like just missed being in the jaws of a tiger shark, and not to fault of the tiger shark. So if you search Coyote Peterson tiger shark, an image will probably come up.
Good call. Those are probably the words you should look for.
The shark, they have feeding responses, right? So they sense with their noses, and so
Face off.
yeah. So
we can't do the video though, can we?
that's the one, the far right there.
Dude.
That's
Dude.
me. That's how close this shark came.
Oh.
Full mouth open, and I dodged out of the way. But it's because I was filming with a GoPro, and with these tiger sharks we were working with, the team we were working with, they're like, yeah, just let the shark swim into it, it'll bounce off, but don't push the nose up. I accidentally triggered a feeding response, and his whole mouth came open, and my face was looking right down his throat. And it wasn't aggressive by any means, but if he had grabbed my arm thinking it was something to eat,
He's not letting go.
The thing that's dangerous is he's going to shake a little bit and realize this isn't what I want, but he's going to open me up to a state when you're that far out in the middle of nowhere, like your odds of bleeding out. Most people in shark
right.
attacks die
That's right.
because they bleed out, not because the shark is
And
eating
he
them.
could also take your arm off pretty
Easily with like we bite meat off a chicken wing.
It's true. Yeah.
If you had to pick one animal to eat you, and that's your way out. Everyone go around the thing. One animal to eat you, and that's your way out.
Do
that's
dinosaurs
how you die.
count?
No.
No, we gotta be a real animal.
Although, let's go dinosaurs.
Because dinosaurs at least would be a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. I
Don't want to go out by a whale accidentally swallowing you.
No.
That's not the way you want to go
probably a
out.
long
Definitely not.
process. I would probably say shark, because the thing is, like a bear will take its time, because in most instances,
They'll eat
like
your legs.
bears don't really eat humans, especially grizzlies. Grizzlies want to eliminate a threat, and your best plan of attack in a bear attack, if it's a grizzly, is to try to play dead. Right, so The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he was like trying to just like take the beating, that is the best thing you can do, because all that bear is doing is wanting to eliminate the threat from its territory. But like a black bears will eat humans. More people are eaten by black bears than they are grizzly.
Predatory. That's why you have to fight back.
You got to fight a black bear if it's attacking you. You're not going to do the play dead thing. But with a grizzly, if you can endure through, you want to protect your head and your neck, because that bear is going to try to break your neck and stop, like just put you out, right?
So funny. I'm thinking about this story wise. Like, how do I want my story told after I'm gone?
Yeah.
Like a bear, everyone's like, "Ooh, that's horrible."
For me, it would be a big cat.
Big cat.
Lion?
Because a jaguar or a lion grabs you by your fucking neck.
Yeah, it's going to break your neck quick.
It's going to break your neck.
Yeah.
Wait, tell the story. Tell the story as if third party. Okay, you're not Bryan Callen,
Yeah.
but I'm a guy at a bar, and I'm talking about Bryan Callen, and you tell me how he died, okay?
Yeah.
So this is the part that matters to me.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I love the Goldbergs. Bryan Callen was like my favorite actor. Dude, I used to love Fighter and the Kid, his stand-up. Whatever happened to Bryan Callen?
Friend of mine.
Oh, you knew Bryan?
Yeah. I was privy to the video and to the auditory of how he went out.
You saw the video.
I saw the video.
Wait, how did he die?
Well, they were in India, and he was helping the local populace there. And he was very much into women's rights and just human rights. I don't know if you guys know that, but he's a real champion of the people, and he gave and gave and gave. And they were out digging a well for this wonderful village, and he did it by hand. I don't know if you ever saw his back.
No, it looked like a
he
road
could-
map.
could
He sounds
dig
like he was really strong.
He could dig. Yeah, he could dig a well in an afternoon. I don't know anybody like that. He was an actor, but he was really quite an athlete. And love really moved him.
Oh,
Love.
yeah. I was a fan of his too. How did he die?
Yeah.
We got the backstory.
There was he was with a group of women. There was this charity where they had all of the Miss America runner-ups with him, and some of the girls, especially who had been exposed for doing some nefarious, nude stuff that Miss America didn't want. Anyway, he was there, and he was a natural leader, and he had taken them on a fact-finding mission. And
Fact-finding mission?
yeah.
What is this, Jack Reacher?
yeah, they were helping him and providing inspiration for the well digging and stuff. And
But how did he die?
So he used to dig in a loincloth, and he
Loincloth.
yeah, and he had that was fashioned for him by one of the local and very beautiful young ladies, and he a tiger, Shere Khan.
Shere Khan?
Shere Khan. That's Hindu for tiger. Showed up and came at a woman. And
I know Bryan must have jumped right in front of
he
that.
did not like when wild animals fucked with women. He didn't like when
He didn't like when directors or producers
He was
did
a
it,
champion-
but he hated when wild animals
champion
did
of
it.
women's rights and human rights. I don't know if I said that before.
Yeah,
That guy gave till it hurts, and he said, "Not on my watch, bitch!" And he dove. He had mostly fast twitch muscles, so it was amazing how fast he dove. And it was funny to see in midair because they slowed the camera down. The tiger recognized it in midair. You could see its expression change. It recognized it was going to have its hands full. It recognized that this dude, when he pulled his knife from his loincloth, and he went, "Not on my watch, bitch," and he jumped sort of into the maw of the tiger, and he drove his knife, and he didn't want to hurt the tiger. And this is what's
what
beautiful
a
about
great
him.
fucking
This is
guy.
what's beautiful about him. You could see him. He was about to plunge the knife, and he went, "No," and he dropped the knife. He put the tiger into his guard, and he brought the tiger in, and he said, "I love you," to the girl and to the tigers.
And
And the tiger got him by the neck, and he died smiling.
and
The tiger, surprisingly, let go of him and walked back into the bush. And this is so fucking crazy, but it bowed to him.
it bowed.
Yeah, it this is weird, Coyote. You would know this, but it put its paws and it just kind of put its nose to the ground and went, "Ah," and it screamed in honor of him.
I heard this story. I heard that some say, and this is folklore,
Yeah.
that Bryan became that tiger.
This is so fucking weird because they couldn't find his body.
Wait,
dude.
was it a tiger loincloth though?
It was. He was wearing a tiger
You were
loincloth.
one
Can
with the
someone
tiger.
please,
Yes.
please make that artwork of Bryan flying through the air, grabbing a tiger who's flying in the air with under one underarm with a knife, kind of dropping it, but the tiger's recognizing it. Please, please, please. I will pay to make those shirts, and I will give them away. I will give away 100 shirts if someone writes that.
And I'm known in India as El Tigre.
And I think now you need to just transcribe all that, and there's your next pitch for Netflix right there.
Thank you, dude.
This is it.
We just came up with a great story.
You can
That's
put a whole
much better
series
than
together with this.
no. Bert was strangled by an anaconda in a zoo, and like his family watched him breathe.
Bert was bit by a funnel spider and died screaming with a very swollen arm.
Dude, I got stung by a bee the other day, and it hurts. My fly's down. It hurts so bad, and it's. I was at a bee thing, and we were beekeeping, and someone was like, "See if," because there's all over the place. They're like, "See if it would sting you." So I lifted my shirt up, and I was like, "See if one lands," and then it landed, and I panicked. So I put my shirt down, and I covered the bee in my shirt.
That's the worst thing you could have done.
No shit, Coyote. I know that now. I then started punching the bee, and it just stung me, and it swelled up huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about African bees?
Well, that's a great one for me to tell you guys that we for this season filmed an
do not say
insane bee
this.
episode. 13,000 bees in a bee beard. It won't come up on internet. I'll bring it up on my phone real quick to show you guys the picture. So I wore 13,000 bees. I think you guys knew. Maybe it happened after I was on the show last. I got stung 60 times in the face by bees. So if you search
the
bee beard gone wrong, search bee beard gone wrong real quick, and you'll see what happened to my face.
Why did that happen to you?
It was because Africanized bees got in a fight with European honeybees on my face, and they. So go to images. Go to images. And
hear
you'll
this.
see more come up. So there you go. Now that's what happened to my face.
Is that true?
Yes, I
That's
got
your
stung
lip?
60 times by bees. Yeah.
Look at his lip.
You look like this porn star
I looked
follow.
like a swollen hot dog, but we went back to Arizona,
Dude,
and
this
I did.
is incredible. Hold on. They were Africanized. So the African bees stung the fuck out of you.
Look at that. Yeah,
Dude, they're
I
stinging
got-
you on the lip.
It's on the lip. Yeah, I got my lips, my neck, around my eyes. So I was trying to wear a beard with about 2,000
That's
bees.
not Photoshop. That's your real
No,
mouth?
that's real. So for the show, we just did another bee episode. I did 13,000 bees.
How heavy is your face here?
That's about 11 pounds worth of bees.
What do they put, like a queen bee in your mouth?
So I wore something called the Queen's Necklace, which is a queen bee inside of a little capsule, and all of the other worker bees that were in this hive, they just want to come to the queen. So they basically covered me. Now, what happened in the one that went wrong?
Wait, how do you get them off you?
My bee expert scoops them off with his hand. I was stung 4 times filming this scene, so way less than 60.
On the
You were
face?
still stung.
Still stung 4 times in the
Why?
process because the bees were like, no, don't take me away from the queen. So some of them would sting when they're getting taken away.
That's a big problem, dude.
Yeah, no, but the episode is crazy, awesome, intense.
But
Can I
dude,
tell you
so-
where you
so
take
this-
it to the
this-
next level, dude? Bee pubes.
Did you
I don't know if that works for
that
Animal
would be
Planet.
terrible, but it makes your dick bigger. Did you
Start going
know-
like this. Sting it, sting it, sting it,
You're
sting
all
it.
fucking swollen.
Hey guys, get the cameras out now. Look at this fucking
Then you
hog.
do some cage dancing. Did you know that they were Africanized?
No, so what happened with this is where we were filming. So Africanized bees are like a big sort of thing that swept the nation in like the early 90s with
remember.
this idea that there's killer bees. Killer bees are what are called Africanized bees, right? And they're only killer bees in that people have died from being stung by them, right? They're not going out of their way to necessarily kill people, but when
They are
people
more
try,
aggressive, yes.
they are more aggressive. And
They are from Africa, indigenous to Africa.
originally it originated there, and through people doing beekeeping, there were some tests that were being done, and it's a much longer story. But yes, eventually Africanized bees had escaped, interbred with calmer European honeybees, and because they're
This
more
sounds
aggressive,
racist just listening to it.
it's
The
not
calmer,
that.
more intelligent European bees, these aggressive African
by the
bees.
way, just to interrupt you for a second, Jared Diamond in Guns, Germans, and Steel, one of the ideas was that one of the reasons Africa did not develop as quickly as, say, the Fertile Crescent, Babylon, and what's now Iraq, the Middle East, Europe, was because you couldn't domesticate, in sub-Saharan Africa, you couldn't domesticate any of the animals. And it's a real thing. You can't raise cattle. You cannot raise goats. You can't raise any of that stuff when you have large cats, when you have smaller cats. They will decimate.
I
You
love
can't
hearing shit like this.
You can't tame an elephant. You can't domesticate an elephant. You can't domesticate the water buffalo. They will kill you. You can't ride a zebra. They will bite and not let go. So all of the animals in Africa are simply not, you can't domesticate. You can domesticate cows and oxen and horse and all those animals that were indigenous to that area. And oh, by the way, edible grasses like barley, millet, amaranth, and wheat grew naturally in places like Iraq and those places. So you could and you also couldn't really plant in an area that got rain that often in a jungle. There were just too many issues, too many insects that would eat your crops. So you had to be a hunter-gatherer. You had to hunt. And when you are that way, when you in small bands of people are the only way you can survive because you can't feed enough people. So you couldn't organize into large. So of course you became very tribal and small. When you have an ability to create agriculture and cereals and high energy foods that allow you then to have a lot of people in one area, and that's when you have government, organized armies, organized technology, the sharing of ideas, the sharing of information. That was not the case in Africa. And oh, by the way, the diseases were, yellow fever and all it got to a point where the slave traders, the European slave traders, had to rely on other Africans to give them their slaves. They couldn't go into the interior because they always got sick and died.
Wow. I love hearing shit like that
great
stuff
book.
interests me.
People ask me what to read all the time. Read Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond. It won a Pulitzer Prize. It's an amazing book.
Guns, Germs, and Steel. I'm getting it on audiobook right now.
It's a fucking great book. But we'll keep going with what you were
I'm
saying.
sorry.
So the bees,
Africanized
bees are more aggressive, but it's a great example because they're dealing with predators like honey badgers, right? So when an Africanized colony is attacked by a predator, unlike European honeybees, they send out somewhere between 60 and 80% of their hive to attack the attacker.
Whoa.
In my instance, what happened is we were using calm, docile European honeybees to build that first bee beard. The location we were in, some Africanized bees had gotten mixed in, and in the flurry of what was happening, the second I got stung the first time, my first sting came on the lip. When a bee stings, it sets off a pheromone that tells the other bees, we need to attack something. My face just sort of inadvertently became the punching bag for these bees getting in a fight.
In serious trouble.
Well, a single bee sting can kill a human, depending on how your body reacts to venom if you go into anaphylactic shock. So to be stung as many times as I
How many
had,
were you stung?
About 60 times on my face,
60
arms, neck,
times.
hands, legs. Yeah.
Dude, that's so much pain. Were you just in terrible pain?
It was one of the most intense pains I've ever gone through. When your face is going through that transformation swelling, it felt like my lips were going to explode. They were like overly cooked hot dogs. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was scared. Like your heart rate starts going so fast because you're like, holy cow, this is insanely painful. I can't stop it. And there's a lot of venom inside of me.
Do you take antivenom?
No, not for this. I mean, after 20 minutes, when you're like, okay, you haven't gone into anaphylactic shock, you're like, you're going to be okay.
Are you able to build a resistance to venom the more you get stung, the more your body's used to it, or
Everything's got its own venom, though, right?
Well, some people become more susceptible to venom. So me wearing the bee beard the second time, what we were actually worried about is that my body built up an oversensitivity to the venom where a single sting could shoot me into anaphylactic shock. Because you have to think, when I got stung that many times, my body went into like massive overdrive. This is like, a Dodge Viper on nitrous, like as fast as it could go. My body's like, holy cow, dude, you just got stung 60 times by bees.
You work hard for your money.
I mean, this wasn't even supposed to happen. So when it did, we didn't go into the bee beard being like, sweet, dude, you're going to get stung a bunch. The guy I was working with was like, no, you might get stung once or twice. So he felt really bad. And when we came back to do another bee beard for Animal Planet, he's like, you sure you want to do this again? I'm like, yeah, let's go for it.
This made you famous, dude.
So you don't have to answer this. When you know you're making good revenue on YouTube, correct? You go into Animal Planet, you come in with a price that I'm certain they're like, oh, no. We only give that to stars. Like, we only give that to Jeff Irwin or Irwin or whatever his name is. And you go, no, this is the show I do, and this is what I already make. It must be like talking to like old people.
Without divulging too much of the like financials of what it is, I found myself in a very unique position because of the brand we had built.
Yeah.
in
I
the
think you're
YouTube
more
space.
famous than any of those guys.
You're more famous than the network.
Well, the Brave
Yes.
Wilderness channel has been viewed 3.1 billion times at this point in the
Yeah.
course of 5 years. We've got 15.5
Wait,
million
say that
subscribers. 3.1 billion views is what we have generated on the Brave Wilderness
Are
channel.
you fucking
Watch,
kidding
I'm
me?
gonna show you
That's a
something.
lot of people watching all around the world watching Brave
my kids
Wilderness.
have watched everything. I wanted you to meet them, but they're.
You should have brought him in today.
I know, maybe.
Well, here's what's cool about YouTube is YouTube is constantly ticking, right? Like with television, it's an awesome world to be a part of, but you're at the mercy of air blocks, right? With YouTube, there are people watching the Brave Wilderness channel every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week of every month of every year until we turn it off. It just constantly goes and goes, which is the best way, the biggest microphone you can have for reaching people, especially like your kids. I mean, you guys, thank you for appreciating what I do. You know, as big kids, you're like, dang, this is crazy. This is cool. And young kids are like, dang, this is crazy.
Well, a
this
lot
is
of
cool.
it's your
because they
a
want
lot
to
of
learn
it's
about animals.
your enthusiasm, your personality, all that stuff. I mean, this is a look. Congrats, dude. You've in the insane noise, in the cult of amateur world that the internet is, in the big sketch that it is, in all, you have figured out a way to capture people's imagination and attention, and you've done it in a really positive way because kids learn a lot, man. My kids they when I showed them that video, I was so cool. My daughter, I not to be when I'm with my daughter and my son at the airport, I get you get recognized and all that, and they could give a shit about that. When I showed them that I knew you and I had a video, they literally lost their fucking mind. It was great.
Oh, I gotta take a picture with you. I forgot about that. My daughter showed me your video, came into my man cave.
Yeah.
I was like, Dad, you got to see this. And I was like, what is it? And she goes, Dad, type in Coyote Peterson. And I was like, typed it in. And the first video, I'm like, I said this before you walked in. I am really good at telling you cool shit. Like I found hot ones way before everyone was in love with that. I found that, reached out to Sean Evans, was like, dude, whatever this is, I want to link up with you. You got it. Ethan and Ela Klein, H3H3. I found those guys so long ago and was like, bro, get like fucking, whatever you do, I want to be a part of. When I watched you, I can just tell when shit's good. I was like, oh, I have to pull up a chair. We're going to be watching all of these fucking
You have a
videos.
show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What is your show?
I have a show on Netflix where I take celebrities to a cabin, and it's not celebrities, it's comedians. We go to a cabin and basically try to ruin our careers. Technically, that's what the show really is. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of editing around this.
Yeah.
But we just do cool shit and try to like do stuff to like clear your mind, body, and soul. It's kind of like I don't know, man. I'm afraid to talk too much about it because we've done some stuff where you're like Bobby Lee was on it, so that should explain enough.
Yeah, I love Bobby. I love.
But
Bobby.
it was fucking awesome. We were there for a month in a cabin in the woods, and it was so much fun that I'm like I just hope everyone likes it. Yeah.
It sounds like a good setup for a horror film too, like comedians in cabins getting
like
killed.
strangers.
Well, I was naked a lot. A lot of it.
So you were that character.
There was a lot of it was every
Man
rule,
on man crime.
Every rule that people get upset about in comedy,
Yeah.
inadvertently we stepped on every fucking rule. Not even trying. It was never our intention. It was just
I get so much love for that crab episode where
dude.
people loved it.
That was my favorite. That was when we didn't know what Something's Burning was. We had done like one episode, and you and Shab came in, and when you guys did that episode, I went, "Oh, now I know what the show is." A lot of what making a television show or making any content these days. I won't say that Something's Burning is a television show, but it's an internet project. A lot of it is just finding out what it is for you. That's why when everyone wants to start a podcast.
How did you start that? Like, what was your thing?
with YouTube? Well, because I pitched the concept of Brave Wilderness for a number of years to different networks, and everybody just told me no. I think when Steve passed away, everybody got really afraid to put a human with animals, right? So I'm talking about Steve Irwin. And everybody said no. And at that time, the shows like Duck Dynasty and like these ensemble casts were a big thing, and they were like
The turtle fucking guy.
The turtle
that
guy
sucked dick.
There was nobody. They were like, nobody wants to see a guy presenting animals. We had Planet Earth, and they're like, that's how animals should be racing, and Planet Earth is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything otherwise.
Dude, Dominic from the guy from the Hobbit.
Yeah, Dominic Monaghan.
He had a show on Travel Channel.
Yeah, Wild Things.
Yeah, and it was. Love Dominic. He's a great actor. He's a great talent.
Yeah.
But it was such horseshit because they brought the animals in for him, and you knew it. They're like, all right, over this hill should be an alligator. And they'd walk over and be like, hey, there's an alligator. I'm like, bro, don't cheat it. Do it or don't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't know how he produced his show, so I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything. When it comes to environments he went into, I know he did a lot of really legit stuff.
He loved animals. That's what's important about it.
I think it's awesome that he had a passion for what that was and bounced from Lord of the Rings to Lost to like, and I'm going to do an animal show.
Would you ever do any hunting? That's not your thing.
I don't hunt. I'm not one of those people that's like, people shouldn't hunt. I don't support any like predator hunting. People are like, yeah, I'm going to go out and get a trophy lion. I'm like, why?
I don't get it.
But for people that hunt deer and elk and sustain,
I like that because I like to eat it.
We have an overabundance
understood
of deer.
I've never understood. Like I just could never kill a bear or a lion or I don't.
Rhino's okay, but like something.
Rhino, I would shoot because I don't.
No, not
they're
rhinos.
evil.
Charge
They're
me,
evil.
rhino, elephant,
They're evil in their
giraffe.
hearts.
I totally get it. Lay down next to it. Smile. Put it on Instagram.
What? Hold on. What?
Nothing. I'm just.
Yeah, I killed a lion with a high-powered rifle. I mean,
Look, even in your narrative, like you couldn't kill the tiger. You gave your life to the tiger.
Even in your death.
I mean, I really don't understand how anybody could kill an animal when you really think of it.
so beautiful.
We as humans have impeded upon everything that they were before we got here. So if you find yourself in a scenario like, look, if it was me versus me and my daughter and a mountain lion, I'm not going to be like, oh, the mountain lion's beautiful. I'm going to let you eat my daughter.
No.
Obviously, I would fight in that situation, but I would do everything I could to like back an animal off before ever thinking about like, all right, I'm going violent.
you had some experience with mountain lion. They're very elusive.
more experience with bears, honestly. I have been in the same scenario they portrayed in The Revenant. You guys have seen The Revenant, right? With Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I was
By
in
the
the
way,
exact
enjoyed doing that movie.
exact same scenario. A mother bear, 3 cubs, side of a river, middle of nowhere, Alaska, 100 yards in closing. And she couldn't hear us or smell us because we were downwind and the water was so noisy. She didn't know we were there. And we eventually got her attention. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing that makes your heart drop faster than a giant mother grizzly bear standing up on her back legs within like 75 yards and then looking at you and saying, I'm either going to kill you guys because these are my cubs, or I'm going to get my cubs and go in the opposite direction. And thank God she dropped to the ground, took the cubs, and went in the opposite direction. But that's one of those scenarios where, like, a bear can cover 75 yards in seconds.
Did you have guns?
No. No guns.
This is my
See,
scenario.
here's the thing.
Bert was with his family in the woods. Bear, downwind, river behind him, sees him. He pushes his wife down. Bear grabs his cubs and walks away. And I'm like, oh, sorry, babe.
Sorry, honey. Sorry. Oops, you dropped something. Yeah, I would never go into bear territory without a weapon.
Well, here's the thing about the weapons too. They tell you to carry an air horn or bear spray, right? Like, here's the thing about a grizzly. If you fire up a mother bear and she has it in her head that like, you're a threat to my cubs, I'm about to take you out. I mean, you're going to have to be so lucky to hit her with like a shot to like take her down. Her adrenaline's going so fast. Yeah. You're still going to get attacked. Yeah. That's the same thing with bear spray too. What I didn't know about bear spray, because after this incident happened, like we were like, well, we got to know what this bear spray does. I thought it was like hornet spray that would spray like 25 yards and I could like aim it at the bear's eyes.
Me too.
Dude, it comes out in a plume and all it does is creates this cloud so that the bear's coming at you. It's going to run through it and it's going to get in its eyes and its nose. It's still going to attack you, but you have to hope that it's like disoriented enough that like maybe you can get away in the process. Yeah, like if a bear is going to attack you, like your odds of getting away are not very good.
I always go with SEAL Team 6 and they're armed to the hilt.
That, if you have the opportunity to have SEAL Team 6 with you out in the backcountry of Alaska, I would think that's probably better than bear spray.
That's what you do. Mm-hmm. I listen, man. Well, I'm excited about your show. Wild, it's called
Brave the Wild.
Brave the Wild.
Yeah, premieres.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I say that because what I'm congratulating is a guy who had a dream that no one understood, that did it on its own, and now they've had to turn and come to you. That is what is the future of this business is. Yep. And to see guys like you succeeding gives me hope. And I feel like I've done some stuff, but man, I go, yeah, you can always make your own shit and they'll have to come to you.
Also, what you do is so pure in a way.
Thank you. Oh, it's cool too. Is we're producing this out of Columbus, Ohio. You know what I mean? Most people
One of my
are like,
favorite
wait, there's
towns in the world.
I'll
there's
be
no
there.
entertainment industry in
I'm gonna be
Ohio.
in Columbus.
Are you?
I'll be doing stand up there. I can't remember when.
Oh well,
but
definitely
it'll
let me
be
know. I will
sometime
be there.
in March. Or,
February 2nd, I'll be in Dayton in the Birdie Boy World
by
Tour.
the way, I'm in Cleveland this next weekend. I think we're almost sold out. I think we're sold out. I think there are tickets left for Thursday, January 30th, and then we got January 31st and Saturday the 1st. They wanted to add an extra show on Saturday. I was like, not doing that.
Oh.
I can't do 3 shows in
Yeah,
one
you
night.
can.
I
Oh,
can't.
they start throwing up in the back.
I can't do it. I can't. But anyway, so get your tickets. And then West Palm Beach, February 14th, 15th, 16th. I'm there for Valentine's Day. Get your tickets, tfatk.com. Coyote, what else can we... Bert, where are you going to be?
Oh, I'm going to be in Birdie Boy World Tour starts January 30th. Burlington, Vermont, Rochester, Dayton, San Jose, Sacramento, Bakersfield, Indianapolis. 2 shows in New York City at the... What's the name of that theater? Lincoln or not Lincoln? Is it the Madison
Beacon?
Square Garden? Beacon.
That's a big deal, dude. You sold two. You sold out the Beacon twice?
Yeah.
That's no joke.
Thank you.
Well done, Bubba.
Thank you so much.
The Beacon is a great...
I can't wait.
Great
I'm
theater.
really excited. DC, we're doing Dar Constitution Hall, 2 shows. Tampa, 2 shows.
Wow.
Yeah, we just added a bunch of second shows.
How many people does Constitution Hall hold?
Probably 25, I'm guessing.
25? Only 25?
Yeah,
2,500?
you just about.
Let me borrow some money. Bert Kreischer, Coyote Peterson. Where can they? So when does the show air? Give us all the information.
So what's cool is we're doing a sneak peek on Super Bowl Sunday. So Puppy Bowl is a huge thing for Animal Planet. So Puppy Bowl is like their big day of the year, right? So there'll be a sneak peek right after Puppy Bowl, so 5:00 Eastern time on February 2nd. But the show really premieres February 9th, Sunday, February 9th at 9:00. Tune in, and yeah, I'm confident in saying this is, for its place in time, the greatest animal adventure series that's been produced.
Ask me where I'm going to be Super Bowl Sunday.
Where are you going to be on Super Bowl Sunday?
Sylvester Stallone's house.
Oh, wait, I thought you were going to say a date I was putting on my Instagram. You're going to be at Sylvester Stallone's house?
Well, I'll be, but I mean, this weekend I'll be at Cleveland at Hilarities. January 30th,
With Sylvester
31st, and
Stallone?
1st of February, and then West Palm Beach, Valentine's Day. Make sure you post that.
I got it.
This is great, dude.
And I'll do
Cabin. It's called Cabin.
Yeah. Dude, we
and you're naked in the picture.
I mean, I can't tell too much about this series, but like, all I'll tell you is one of my fucking hardest I've ever laughed ever is we were doing scream therapy, me, Bobby Lee, and Donnell Rollins, and we were trying to talk to our fathers and tell us things that was going on, but their fathers had just passed. So I go, Bobby, yell to your father, and he's like, I'm having a hard time doing it, and then Donnell's like, oh, I'll just be your father. And he's like, oh, Bobby's son. And so I'm like, well, Donnell, you can't do that. It's racist. And then Bobby goes, I'll be your dad, Donnell. Oh, hell, Donnell. And so the 2 of them are going back and forth as their dads. And I'm the one white guy going, guys, we can't do that.
That's so good. Please leave that in.
I do so much is
Please
getting
leave it
edited
in.
out. So much
Fuck
is
that.
getting edited
Leave that
out. You have
in.
no fucking idea.
It's a black guy and a Korean guy.
It was
not racist.
Every episode I was crying, laughing. I was getting
We
healed
need
by
more of that. We need more of that cross pollination and using humor to break down all that horse shit.
And worst case scenario, you're going to have like this whole stack of like B-sides that are like the cabin journals that is, internet-based content.
Ask me what I'm doing at 7:30.
Ask me what I'm doing at 7:00.
What are you doing at 7 o'clock?
I have a rap party for the cabin.
That's right. You told me that.
Ask me what I'm doing at 7
What are
o'clock.
you doing at 7?
I'm just having dinner with my sister and her husband.
Oh, you're a sweet man. What are you guys eating?
I don't know. They're taking me someplace for sushi. Her
leave
husband's
tomorrow?
a pretty awesome writer. I leave tomorrow morning.
What's her husband? Do I know?
Stephen Corrin. He's
I know.
he wrote Seinfeld.
I know Stephen Corrin.
Yeah, Stephen Corrin.
Can I tell
Police
you-
Almighty, Click.
Wait, hold on one second. Can I tell you
Night at the
the
Roxbury.
fucking craziest round robin circle of this? Do you know who one of the writers on my World's Dancing Dog show was?
Stephen Corrin.
Swear to you on my fucking children.
Really?
Swear to you on my fucking children.
I will ask him tonight.
Did I tell you about the Dancing Dog show?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Stephen Corn was my fucking. He came out to Solvang. He was good friends with John Hotchkiss was one of the head writers and who created the show. And Stephen Corn was one of the fucking writers. And I was like, that's so fucking
What a great
funny.
writer, though.
Dude, he's got an amazing.
He's great. He's really talented.
He's a funny guy,
He
nicest
could not
guy.
help this show to save
How
his
cool is
fucking
that?
life.
Yeah, dude, I love my conversations with him.
Your sister's married to that guy.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Coyote Peterson,
Thank
you're
you.
always welcome, my brother.
Thank you for
Hey,
Great to
congratulations, man.
Thank you guys.
This is the Fighter and the Kid. We're out.
Hey guys, guest host on Fighter and the Kid today. Birdie Boy World Tour kicks off January 30th in Burlington, Vermont. We've added a second show there, and it runs in. We go back to the West Coast, where we're doing San Jose, Sacramento, Bakersfield, and then all over. It goes till May. I hope to see you guys out there. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks. Oh, Brian!
What did you do?
Nothing. I gotta go.
What are you doing? What was he
Nothing.
doing?
Nothing happened at all. I'll talk to you guys later.
You fucking thief.
Hey, enjoy doing ads.
I love you. I love you, Bert Kreischer.
I'll see you guys. Thank you,
best.
Brian.
Thanks,
Bert.